Thanks, Will.
So thank you. To begin, we note the following. Jesse Olzak, representing the Director of the Budget, is participating, and Chris Curtis, representing the Commissioner of Taxation and Finance, are participating in video conference from the Division of the Budget's Conference Center at the Capitol Building, Room 131 in Albany. Abhi Gonzalez is participating via video conference from HCR's office in Syracuse at 620 West Erie Boulevard, Suite 312. And Hope Young Watkins is participating via video conference from HCR's Buffalo office at Electric Tower, 535 Washington Street, Suite 105. In accordance with the Open Meetings Law, notice of our locations has been made public, and the public has the right to attend and observe the proceedings from these locations. We will now do a roll call for each of the meetings and use these votes as items are considered unless a board member indicates an intent to vote differently or a need to recuse. To open the meetings of the New York State Housing Finance Agency, the Affordable Housing Corporation, the Housing Trust Fund Corporation, I ask for motions and seconds to call to order, consider each agenda item, and later adjourn the meetings. So moved. Second.
Second.
Now ask for individual votes for the members of the HFA board, the AHC board, and the HTFC board, starting with Chairman Weiss.
Aye.
Commissioner Wisnauskas.
Aye.
Mr. Olzak.
Aye.
Mr. Curtis.
Aye.
Ms. Gonzalez.
Aye.
Mr. McIntyre.
Aye.
And Ms. Young Watkins.
Aye.
Thank you. To open the meeting of the HFA Finance and Program Committee, I ask for motions and seconds to call to order, consider each agenda item, and later adjourn the meeting. That motion.
So moved.
Second.
And for the individual votes of each committee member, we will accept the previous votes. The meetings are officially open.
Great, thank you. And I will turn things over to Commissioner Wisnauskas for her report.
Great. I have a long report this month, but I will try to speak super fast. There is a lot going on. The governor and the legislature approved the governor's budget, which is tremendous this year. There's sort of one big key piece to it, and then I'll talk about the housing piece. The governor is very focused on affordability for New Yorkers, so there is a lower middle-class tax cut, bringing taxes to their lowest rate in 70 years. Tripling of the child tax credit so that for families that have children under 4, they get $1,000 per child, which had not existed before. Inflation refund checks going to millions of New Yorkers. One of my favorite, free school breakfast and free school lunch for every student K-12 across the state. And a lot of investment in childcare generally. So an enormous amount of really progressive and sort of family New York oriented, getting money back in people's pockets coming out of the budget, which is great. For us parochially here at HCR, there's capital and there's policy changes. So on the capital, the governor announced back in December, that she was going to provide New York City $1 billion to support their City of Yes for housing opportunity rezoning. And so that $1 billion got approved in the budget. It is broken up into a couple different categories. It will run primarily through HCR, through our funding programs, and get spent to support affordable housing, to support the City of Yes, which is great. We also have $100 million for a new mixed income revolving construction loan fund, which we're hoping unlocks, something new, certainly very new for us, something that's also kind of emerging in the market nationally about where there are stalled deals due to costs, due to interest rates, trying to activate construction of housing by getting low cost construction financing in. So we have been working on that, and we will work on sort of launching that in the next month or two. It's $50 million for New York City and $50 million upstate. We also got some funding. We also received $50 million for starter home funding, which the board has seen. I think we've talked about this pilot that we have where we're replacing 3 factory-built houses on land bank sites in the North Country, Syracuse and Schenectady, and they are coming in at sub $300,000 all in, which is like music to our ears because we had been at about 400,000+ for a similar home. So those homes, we'll come back to the board and talk about that probably next month. But funding the $50 million here is something that we hope really allows us to take that to scale and really there are infill land bank sites in every nook and cranny of this state, and so we're excited to be able to activate the funding that way. We also got funding. We also got a doubling, of the state low-income housing tax credits, which come through the board. And folks see we were at 15 million. We're now at 30, which is at a time where we need them is welcome. There's also decoupling of the state historic tax credit, which I think we talked about. And the last big capital one I'll talk about is pro-housing communities. We run the pro-housing communities certification program. There are over 300 communities certified. There's additional $100 million in the budget specifically for pro-housing communities targeted to infrastructure, which was one of the big things we heard people ask us for. In addition to those big buckets, there is money for NYCHA, Upstate Housing Authorities, Mitchell-Lamas, our Resilient Retrofit Program, land banks, vacant rentals, infill housing. We got additional money for Section 515, which is rural housing, which we have just sort of begun to spend. So while it was a year that was focused on affordability and children and families, kind of a massive win for us on the capital side. There was also a new program, Housing Access Voucher Program passed, which is a pilot. It's $50 million to provide sort of a new form of rental vouchers, both in New York City and rest of state. We will, at HCR, run the rest of state portion of that, and New York City will run the New York City portion of that. We got a reduction in our taxes for the Mitchell-Lamas that we oversee in New York City. It'll drop their taxes in half, which is huge since we work very closely with many Mitchell-Lamas on their rent increases to cover their expense increases. So getting a tax break is a great thing for them. And then the last one that I will talk about is the change in institutional investors buying single-family homes. Obviously, I think I talked about this in January. Not so prevalent in New York State, but it is here. And the change we made here was to say that if an institutional investor is going to buy a single-family home, the primary one, is that they have to wait 90 days so that regular New Yorkers can have access to actually buying a home. So it's not a sort of total prevention of institutional ownership. It's just sort of a leveling of the playing field so that home buyers can have a chance to actually go see the home when it goes on the market. There are lots of other things in the budget, but I'll stop there and say two other things. One, yesterday was the New York State Association for Affordable Housing Conference. Probably almost everybody sitting behind me in this room was there, sitting on panels, talking to all our colleagues. It's like a 1,000-person conference. It was great. Thank you to everybody who served on panels and spoke. The governor did the keynote, which was great. She said a lot of the things that I just said, but it was great. And then the last comment I would make is, as you all have heard me say over the years, we have been advocating for a change at the federal level in the changes and additions to the tax-exempt bonds and the 9% tax credits. In the House budget tax bill that was released, I guess that was this week, feels like forever ago already. There were inclusions of dropping the 50% test to 25%, restoring this 12.5% increase on the 9% tax credits, and a couple other things which are good, very good. It is in a budget and a bill that has a lot of other cuts that are very bad, so it is not easy to be happy about something that is not good, or nor unclear that we would want it passed as is, even if it includes our things, because it takes away health benefits and food benefits to the people who we would be housing with our additional resources. But it is in there, and it's been something we've been advocating for a long time, so in a very small way, we were happy to see that. Any questions? All right, then I turn it back to you.
Great, thank you. All right, next item is a consent item to approve the minutes, which will be deemed approved absent any corrections or changes. Item 3 is a discussion item, the 2024 multifamily award authorization request, and Brett Hebner, Vice President Multifamily Finance, will present this item.
Yeah. Good morning. Thank you. So HCR made awards in March of 2025, stemming from our 2024 round of 9% low-income housing tax credits. 28 awards were made, totaling 1,878 units that will be created or preserved. The 4 projects we're presenting today for approval of the subsidy awards have construction finance closing targets prior to our next board meeting. So we rushed to get them to you this board meeting. We'll present the remainder of the awards in tranches as those construction closing dates approach. In addition, these projects involve several sources that were initially awarded by sister agencies and have been suballocated to HCR to administer, including Downtown Revitalization Initiative, Long Island Investment Fund, and Mid-Hudson Momentum Fund. We're seeking the board's approval to administer those funds as well. I'll summarize the 4 projects listed in the chart, but full descriptions, renderings, and pictures follow in the memo. First is Kearney Realty and Development Group's Mill Street Lofts. This is a 70-unit infill new construction mixed income workforce opportunity project, say that 10 times fast, in the city of Hudson, Columbia County. Subsidy awards include $4.2 million in Housing Trust Fund and $3 million in Middle Income Housing Program. And stop me if you have any questions, or I'll just prattle on. Next is Georgia Green Ventures 1 Carlton Green, a 96-unit mixed-use, mixed-income project, which includes 15 supportive units for individuals with intellectual and developmental disabilities, which are supported by services and operating subsidies through OPWDD. The project, located in Central Islip, Suffolk County, also includes 5,600 square feet of storefront commercial space. They have letters of interest from a daycare, a youth arts organization, an ice cream shop, and a pizzeria. Subsidy awards to be approved here include $4.2 million in Housing Trust Fund, $1.2 million in Community Investment Fund, $6.4 million in MIP. In addition, this project also involves a Long Island Investment Fund award and a DRI award, Downtown Redevelopment Initiative, that HCR will be administering on behalf of Empire State Development and Department of State, respectively.
So that's only 5 subsidy sources in there, Brett? You don't want to get 6?
Yeah.
I mean, you know.
we
Sorry.
aim, please. No, I know. A complaint we commonly hear. West Hab Inc.'s 30 West is the new construction of an 81-unit integrated supportive housing project in the village of Haverstraw, Rockland County, with 20 units set aside for homeless residents in recovery with a serious mental illness or substance use disorder. These are supported by Empire State Supportive Housing Initiative, or ESHI, service and operating subsidies. This project will have received a $9.5 million supportive housing opportunity, or SHOP, award, and includes a Mid-Hudson Momentum Fund award that HCR will be administering on behalf of ESD. And lastly, Wartburg Residential Communities Waltham-Aid Residence is an adaptive reuse of a vacant former skilled nursing facility on the Wartburg campus, which is located in the city of Mount Vernon, Westchester County, to create 102 units for senior and supportive housing, including 30 units for homeless seniors, again supported by ESHI subsidies. Subsidy awards include $12.4 million in senior housing program and $2.2 million in SHOP. So that's the 4 awards.
Great.
Questions?
Thank you, Brett.
A note for the record that the chairman will recuse himself from this vote. Now before the HTFC board, a resolution transmitted in connection with this item, assuming the motion and second previously recorded. All in favor, please say aye.
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 The motion is carried. The resolution is adopted.
Great, thank you. And the next item, 4, increase to HTF awards. Brett, you're up again.
All right, thank you. We're seeking the board's approval to increase a Housing Trust Fund award to Belmont Housing Resources True Bethel Commons project in the amount of $349,117, raising that award to a total of $2.7 million. The project is an adaptive reuse of an historic former parochial school and rectory to create 39 units. The additional funding is being sought due to, sounds a little out of date, but COVID-related construction delays and cost escalation, but those were compounded by significant delays in rent up due to negotiations with the local housing authority around the project-based rents and the vouchers that the city was providing. So that developed a gap due to the passage of time, and they've come to us to help with the gap. So that's the background here. So seeking the board's approval for the $349,000 increase.
Thanks, Brett.
Thank you.
Note for the record that the chairman is recusing himself from this vote. Now before the HTFC board, a resolution is transmitted in connection with this item. Assuming the motion and second previously recorded, all in favor, please say aye.
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 Motion is carried. The resolution is adopted.
Thank you. Item 5 is a discussion item, Land Bank Initiative Awards, and Crystal Loeffler, President, Office of Community Renewal, will present this item.
Good morning. I have 3 items today, but before I started, I wanted to just highlight a project that we completed recently. In the last few board meetings, Mr. McIntyre has asked some questions about what we've done to highlight the work of the agency and attribute the sources of funds to the agency. And be sure that our users are clear on where the funding is coming from. And, we looked into it and reflected on it, and we have been a little weak on this. So we have completed and released a comprehensive promotion and media guide that walks our users of homeownership and community development sources through the requirements and expectations for attributing the funding, hosting events, publishing photos, and project funding signs as well. So thank you for the prompting. It should have existed a long time ago, so we're proud to have it out there now.
Great.
So the first item for land banks, the Office of Community Renewal offered an open round request for applications to allow land banks to request land bank funding as new project needs arise. This month, we are seeking approval to award a total of just over $7.7 million among 6 land banks. Proposed awardees include Broome County, Columbia County, Dutchess, Poughkeepsie, Niagara, Orleans, Rochester, and Suffolk County land banks. They are using the funds to support a variety of activities, including pre-development work, acquisition, demolition, building stabilization, and construction, sometimes as standalone work and sometimes to complete a project from start to finish. Thank you for your consideration. I'm happy to answer any questions.
That's great.
Thank you, Crystal.
Now before the HTFC board are resolutions transmitted in connection with this item, assuming the motion is second previously recorded. All in favor, please say aye.
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 Motion is carried. The resolution adopted.
Thank you. Item 6 is a discussion item, Buffalo Main Street Initiative Amendment, and Crystal, you are up again.
Thank you. This program, BMSI, or Buffalo Main Streets Initiative, is part of a pool of funding known as the Better Buffalo Fund that was created about 10 years ago to support neighborhood scale investments in mixed use commercial districts as part of the Buffalo Billion. In collaboration with ESD, we administer BMSI with local non-for-profit partners using the same model as our New York Main Street program. This month, we're requesting approval to amend a grant agreement to adjust the awardee from the original non-for-profit, which was called Coalition for Vibrant Seneca, to True Community Development Corporation, another existing awardee under BMSI. The projects are largely underway, and the existing administrator lacks the capacity to complete the program activities. With the adjustment to a new administrator, we're hopeful that the projects will be successfully completed. Thank you. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Great. Thanks, Crystal.
Thank you.
Now before the HTFC board are resolutions transmitted in connection with this item, assuming the motion is second previously recorded. All in favor, please say aye.
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 The motion is carried. The resolution adopted.
Thank you. Item 7 is another discussion item, New York State Community Development Block Grant Vacant Property Clearance Program Awards. Crystal?
Thanks. We launched a new open round funding opportunity last year, offering up to $10 million in CDBG funding to support demolition and clearance projects. This month, we're requesting approval to issue 4 awards totaling just over $2.4 million in CDBG funds. This includes awards to Lewis County, the Village of Herkimer, Village of Ilion, and the City of Gloversville. So a good month for the Mohawk Valley. The funding will be used to assist in the demolition and related costs to clear vacant and structurally unsound buildings. All of the details are in the memo and briefing sheets, but I'm happy to answer any questions.
Oh, this is great. Thank you, Crystal.
Thanks.
Now before the HTFC board are resolutions transmitted in connection with this item, assuming the motion is second previously recorded. All in favor, please say aye.
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 Motion is carried. The resolution adopted.
Great, thank you. Item 8 is an HTFC discussion item, 2024 Resilient and Ready Home Repair Program, request for additional funding. And Rachel Weeder, Chief of Staff, Home Ownership and Community Development, will present this item and the next 3. Good morning.
Hi, good morning. I have 4 items. The first one is the resilient, sorry, I just want to go in the order you had said.
Yeah.
Resilient and Ready Home Repair Program.
Okay, great. So we are requesting authorization to award up to $7 million to 12 nonprofit organizations who have been administering the Rapid Response Program. They have been administering the program in response to the July and August storms from last summer. They originally were awarded $13 million, and we had budgeted the full 20, and now would like to give them the remaining 7. They're working through about 600 eligible files right now. So to give awards to single-family homeowners, up to 600 single-family homeowners, to make emergency repairs to their home. And so far, they've completed 215 of those projects, and so looking to award the additional funds. Any questions on that?
I would just remind this is we will have a new Ford, 40 million dollars in the budget this year.
Oh, sorry,
When I ticked through.
We received 50 million, but for both the resilient retrofits and the rapid response program. So depending on how many storms we get this next year,
Gotcha.
we'll be putting money towards that, towards the urgent repairs, right, rapid response. And then hopefully there won't be a lot of storms and we can do more the proactive, which is the resilient retrofits program.
But it's great. This is part of what we got new in the budget is sort of a complement to this great work that you guys have done. We now have more funding to keep going.
It was interesting, actually, on my panel yesterday on the modular stuff. Someone was saying that actually there's an industrialized construction lab in North Carolina, which they're discussing flat packing homes and keeping them in a warehouse for after storms so that they can just drop in modular homes very quickly. And that's their resiliency measure, is just be prepared to replace 1,000 homes a year based on that. So it's interesting how like storm preparedness in different parts of the country is playing out.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
This program there weren't a lot of substantially damaged homes. It's mostly, I think the average award is about, it's about 30,000, I believe. But there were a few homes that were substantially damaged where that could be very interesting.
Yeah, and in all the discussions, certainly at the federal level around the changes at FEMA, is a sort of a theme about delegating down to states to do all this. So it does feel.
Without funding, that would be challenging.
Indeed.
Yeah.
But it's good that we have infrastructure in place that should this, continue along that.
Great, thank you. Well,
And now before the HTFC board, a resolution is transmitted in connection with this item. Assuming the motion and second previously recorded, all in favor, please say aye.
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 The motion is carried. The resolution is adopted.
okay, thank you. Item 9, another HTFC discussion item, subrecipient agreement amount increase and term extension for Proctor's Art Center and Theater in Schenectady. And Rachel is up again.
Yes, hi. So during Hurricane Irene and Tropical Storm Lee, there was 24,000 homes in Schenectady that lost power for 3 days. There was an existing microgrid connected to or in ownership of Proctor's, which is a nonprofit theater in Schenectady, and it was very outdated. And this project is to renovate, completely redo the microgrid. So far, the Proctor's, the subrecipient, has demolished the old infrastructure, done about 99% of the design and permitting. And this additional funding and time to their contract will be to complete out the construction of the microgrid over the next year and a half. Their total contract with this $4.6 million increase would be approximately $13.3 million.
Super.
Any questions on that?
Are they doing like battery storage and stuff? Or is it
There's
just-
storage. I don't know. Yeah, there's storage,
Okay.
and they're building lines that are going underground so that they wouldn't be impacted by extreme weather event.
Okay, got it.
Yeah, and they've recently brought together a lot of new partners to help in the management of the construction project.
That's interesting. There's an organization called American Microgrid, which is going around in a lot of affordable housing and other places, looking at and community centers and other places, doing these resiliency centers, but also this type of microgrid work in order to be, especially in extreme heat examples in places in the country where they can have heating and cooling and other places like that. So
It's great.
it's great.
Okay, this is before the HTFC board, a resolution transmitted in connection with this item. Assuming the motion and second previously recorded, all in favor, please say aye.
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 Motion is carried. The resolution adopted.
Thank you. Item 10, is another discussion item for HTFC, contract term extension for Tetra Tech. Rachel.
This is a contract that our HC has in support of the same Proctor's microgrid project. Tetra Tech is a firm that we have been working with on other microgrid projects. They've been providing technical assistance, helping us review change orders that contractors submit. We successfully completed a microgrid project in Freeport, New York, and one in Greenport, New York, with the support of Tetra Tech, providing that technical expertise to us. We do not need any additional funding. It would just be an extension of their contract for another 1.5 years, which is beyond the 5 years of the procurement, which is why we're asking for authorization from the board to do that.
Thank you.
And now before the HTFC board, a resolution transmitted in connection with this item, assuming the motion and second previously recorded. All in favor, please say aye.
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 The motion is carried. The resolution adopted.
Thank you.
Thank you, Rachel.
Okay.
One more.
Oh, yeah, one more. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, one more.
Please stay.
Item 11, HTFC Resilient Construction Program Award to 2 nonprofit developers.
This is a somewhat new program where we're requesting authorization to award 2 nonprofit affordable housing developers. We are the NASA Suffolk HTFC. We're requesting to award $240,000. They're a subsidiary of the Long Island Housing Partnership. They have taken ownership of 12 properties that were purchased in the New York Rising acquisition program, sold to developers for redevelopment, and those developers did not do the redevelopment, so we took them back and are now giving them to this nonprofit developer to develop for affordable housing. They need some subsidy to be able to make the math work. They're redeveloping them and elevating them above the base flood elevation. They're in the floodplain. And then the second nonprofit developer who applied is B3 New York Asset Revitalization. And we're requesting to award them $469,285 to rehabilitate 5 properties that we will transfer to them, of which we took ownership. We took ownership again. Any questions? They'll be redeveloped and sold to low-income homeowners.
Super.
Thank you.
This is before the HTFC board. Resolution transmitted in connection with this item, assuming the motion and second previously recorded. All in favor, please say aye.
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 Yeah.
The motion is carried. The resolution adopted.
Great. Thanks. Rachel.
Thanks, Rachel.
Item 12 is another discussion item for HTFC, capital grants to 5 Mitchell-Lama developments. And Robert Franco-Taylor, Vice President of Strategic Preservation Initiatives, will present the item.
Good morning. So this request from the board is to authorize $80 million in Mitchell-Lama capital funding, which were appropriated in last year's budget by the legislature. The $80 million were allocated to 5 specific Mitchell-Lama developments for specific uses. $50 million was allocated to Co-op City to pay for capital restoration and improvement. $10 million was allocated to Amalgamated Housing Cooperative for capital restoration and improvement. $10 million was allocated to Starrett City for energy efficiency upgrades. And $10 million was allocated to 2 HPD supervised housing companies, $5 million to Clinton Towers for boiler replacement and upgrades, and $5 million to Tracy Towers for rehabilitation of the building. So the funds will be dispersed via a grant through a kind of hybrid grant and subsidy review process. So the funding the housing companies will apply with their respective proposed scopes, and our DCE group will review for environmental as well as scope feasibility, contract documents, et cetera. And then once the legal documents are finalized, we will administer the grant funding as work is completed. So the projects will submit their payment applications and get either a reimbursement, or we will pay the invoices directly.
So did we approve the scope of work in each of these cases already?
we have not already approved the specific scopes of work. We have engaged with the housing companies already to let them know what the process looks like, but none of the funding has been approved and dispersed yet.
And you said they were in the form of a grant, so these are not going to be repaid.
Correct.
Is that, because is it specified, does it have to be a grant? It says distributed down below, and I wasn't sure if that has to be a grant or like, the only reason I asked that is like, the $10 million, like, listen, I understand, obviously with the tax changes to the Mitchell Lamas, there's going to be implications on cash flow to them. They've struggled historically. I think there's like a real need to look at them. But like, for example, if you're funding energy efficiency, there may be value created at the property that like maybe you could do a 0.5% loan on some of it and do part as a grant, part of, I just don't know how it's specified. Just the only reason I say that too is because if any of these properties in the way we do the retrofit stuff comes back for recapitalization, if it was done as a loan, it could be carried forward into basis. And so that you could actually carry forward the amortized debt, which would be different than just doing it as a straight grant. And you could leverage those funds up if there was, you know, you obviously want to make sure that they're better off with these improvements, but if they're replacing a boiler, they probably had problems with their boiler over the last 5 years or so, that they may be saving money on operations in ways that this could be a repayable mechanism that's leveraged up.
So this money is unlike normal, typical money that comes through. So it is, I don't know that we have discretion to do it that way.
Okay.
And if I may, I'm sorry, we're working on like the structure, and because of all the different lenders and things of that, there's a lot of resistance to the idea of unnecessarily a loan, but we are planning to do some sort of secure to ensure compliance and good maintenance of the improvements. So we will be, you know, continuing to monitor and make sure that the project is operating in good form, but and we are securing it in some way, but because of the other lending structures, I just wanted to kind of back that up, that right now we are intending to just structure it as a grant that's secured in some way.
And acknowledging that is not our normal way to do these.
No, it's just these are, I think as we start to do lending into like rehab and stuff, if there's value creation
100%.
to think about figuring out I mean, it'd be interesting even to know like how much energy efficiency Starrett gets out of the $10 million, like how much value creation are we with $10 million of upgrades to energy efficiency? It's creating $40 million of value over the next 30 years or something like that.
Well, in case it wasn't clear when Robert said it too, we neither selected the developments nor the dollar amounts that went to them. So these were given to us. These are legislative.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm just saying
what they do.
What they do in the scopes, I just think it's interesting if they're choosing their low-hanging fruit. And this is like how preventative medicine can work for a lot of these places in terms of fixing the buildings up.
I think we had an interesting example. I think this came through you right around at Starrett, that they actually don't have the kinds of light bulbs that you're now supposed to use that are not like the old light bulbs.
Oh.
And we did an analysis, or I'm blanking on the word, but there was some work done to say Starrett has, 1 bazillion light bulbs or whatever. And so what they went, so I think they may be using some of this money.
Those are amazing because those have like a 1.5 year payback, 2 year payback period on just switching to LED, right? And stuff like that.
So we did talk, there is some conversation, I think, with them about certainly what they are. And I think if your question is like, do we want to get feedback from them on what the impact was, we can certainly get that.
And if this is really successful in impacting their balance sheet, then develop a more holistic retrofit lending program around this, where there is real value that can be identified.
Yeah, they are for the most part fully self-financed, right?
Totally.
We don't have any loans either on Co-op City or Starrett City or Amalgamated. Actually, these are all have private debt on them. So this would be sort of a first governmental, at least since I've been here in the last little while.
Since the agency.
Okay, well.
Okay, now before the HTFC board, a resolution transmitted in connection with this item, assuming the motion and second previously recorded. All in favor, please say aye.
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 Motion is carried, the resolution adopted.
Thank you, Robert.
Thank you. Item 13 is a discussion item for HFA, HTFC, and HFA Finance and Program Committee. The item is QS Towers, Mount Vernon, Westchester County, and Russell Hughley, Vice President Multifamily, and Emilio Rivera, Assistant Vice President, will present the item.
Good morning.
Hello, everyone.
Suits on Fridays.
Yeah.
Gentlemen.
I'm running out of suits.
Right. Hi, all. QS Towers is a new construction of 2 buildings comprised of 29 units. on North McQuestion Parkway near the Mount Vernon West Metro North train station. Metro North Station, the two buildings are comprised of one 15-story, 115-unit building and one 12-story, 114-unit building. All revenue-generating units will be set aside for households with incomes ranging between 40% and 80% of AMI. The project will include small ground floor retail spaces, parking garages below each building, recreational green roofs, and community rooms. There is substantial local financing for the project, including a 30-year pilot from the Mount Vernon IDA, Westchester County Housing Flex Funds, New Homes Land Acquisition Funds, and ESD Mid-Hudson Momentum Funds. The project consists of 5 tax parcels. 2 were acquired from private entities and 3 from the city of Mount Vernon. The project team is a joint venture between the Stag Group and Simone Development Corporation, serving as co-developers and co-owners who previously partnered together on the Westview project in New Rochelle, which closed with HFA in 2022. Thank you. Let me know if there are any questions.
I would certainly like to shout out to Westchester again for being a major investor in, this has a $13 million County of Westchester
Yes.
funding source in it it's a really great commitment from their behalf to getting our projects to work. It's great.
And then in addition to just the New Homes Land Acquisition Fund and then EST on the Mid-Hudson Momentum Fund, it's significant help.
Just a question on the credit pricing. So I noticed the federal credits are at 94 cents and the state credits are at 60 cents. With the change that was approved, and I don't know if this project would benefit from it, but there is a change that should increase the pricing on the state credit syndication. Is there any talk about that? Because the credit price is pretty low on the state credit.
Yeah, given the investor and letter of credit provider selected here, Bank of America is doing it both on debt and equity. They did not elect to do the bifurcation transfer option that would yield potential higher pricing. I believe that in this area, they had noted that this was the best pricing the sponsor Stag and Simone were able to get, given the ownership structure and overall interest in this area.
Okay, just something to watch out for going forward. It is, we pushed hard to get that change. We should try to get the benefit of it.
And you'll see across the portfolio for June, there are several projects that are electing the transfer bifurcation where there is interest and investor appetite. Because they will, when folks do the transfer bifurcation process, it's a separate investor for the SLIC, and certain firms want to take it all in on their own.
Okay, good. Thank you.
This is before the HFA and the HTFC boards and also the HFA Finance and Program Committee resolutions transmitted in connection with this item. Assuming the motion and second previously recorded, all in favor, please say aye.
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 Motion is carried. The resolution is adopted.
Great, thank you. Next item 14 is a discussion item for the McLean and Yonkers, Westchester County, and Russell and Amelia again.
Awesome. Staying in Westchester County, 345 McLean is the new construction of a 12-story building containing 105 units for seniors age 62 or older in the city of Yonkers. Of the total units, 31 units will be supported by an ESHI award administered by OMH. The ESHI population served will be individuals with a serious mental illness who are homeless or at risk of homelessness. In addition, 8 units will be covered by a new project-based Section A housing assistance payment contract administered by Macy Municipal Housing Authority of City of Yonkers. The project also received assistance from the City of Yonkers with the land transfer in 2024. The City of Yonkers and Westchester County approved the transfer of the site from the City of Yonkers to Versus Development LLC, the sponsor in this case. To support the development, Westchester County transferred an additional 0.5 acres of an adjacent tax parcel to the existing 345 McLean Avenue site, and is providing additional housing infrastructure funding of approximately $5.5 million to assist with the infrastructure needed for the development of the project. The project also includes key sustainable features, including green roofs, a rooftop solar array, EV charging stations for any of our seniors that have fully electric vehicles. But thank you, and let me know if there are any questions.
Scooters, maybe. Thank you. And well on
Yeah. I'll note for the record that the chairman is recusing himself from this vote. Now before the HFA board and the HFA Finance and Program Committee are resolutions transmitted in connection with this item, assuming the motion and second previously recorded. All in favor, please say aye.
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 The motion is carried. The resolution is adopted.
Thanks, Mary.
Next item 15 is a discussion item for Northgate Landing in Albany, Albany County. And Russell Hubbley will present the item.
Okay, thanks. Northgate Landing will be the new construction of two 4-story L-shaped buildings with 185 units of 100% affordable housing built on property that currently houses a vacant out-of-business Red Carpet Inn hotel. The hotel will be demolished and new housing will be constructed along with a resurfaced 168-space parking lot for residents. There'll be landscape seating areas and green space, a playground for children. The 185 units will be available to residents at between 50% and 70% AMI for the Albany County area, qualifying the entire project for low-income housing tax credits using the income averaging set aside. Amenities for the residents will include broadband internet free throughout, a fitness center, community room with kitchenette, laundry rooms on each floor, bicycle storage. 10% of the units will be fully adapted for accessibility for persons with mobility impairments, and 4% will be adapted for persons with hearing or visual impairments. The project meets the agency's green building requirements for all newly constructed housing. It will be certified through the Energy Star Multifamily New Construction ERI pathway, plus 25% better. That means that Northgate Landing will be fully electric, including highly efficient heat pump ERV systems for heating and cooling, domestic hot water, all electric Energy Star appliances, and LED lighting. The site of Northgate Landing is on Northern Boulevard, north of downtown Albany, where Interstate 90 crosses Route 9 nearby. It's called the Bishopsgate neighborhood, the northernmost community within the city limits of Albany. The area is primarily residential with services nearby. It's part of Albany's Unified Sustainable Development Ordinance, USDO plan, to repurpose and revitalize underutilized property to create permanent and sustainable affordable housing. Conifer is the developer here. Principal is Lisa Caseman, a longtime partner with the agency on dozens of affordable housing projects throughout upstate New York. They'll develop Northgate Landing along with their own construction arm, Conifer LaChase, as well as their own property management firm, Conifer Management. This structure contributes to keeping overall costs down, making for a relatively financially feasible and efficient development. Talking about tax credits, federal tax credit pricing from Bank of America here, who is also providing the project's letter of credit by virtue of the location in Albany, their pool of investment, wholly new construction, which is sort of favorable these days, will account for 56% of the project development costs. The balance coming from the agency's bond and subsidy financing, some home funds from the city of Albany, and the city IDA will be providing a pilot 10% shelter rent, 30-year pilot based on the property taxes. And lastly, the project will expect to meet the state's minority, women, and senior disabled veteran business goals for Albany County, which in aggregate is about 36% of the agency's permanent financing that's going into the project. Thanks.
Thanks, Russ.
Note for the record, the chairman has recused himself from this vote. Now before the HFA board and the HFA Finance and Program Committee are resolutions transmitted in connection with this item. Assuming the motion second previously recorded, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Motion is carried. The resolution is adopted.
Okay, thank you. Next item is item 16, East Adams Phase 1 in Syracuse, Onondaga County. And Russell, you're on this one as well.
Sure. I'm going to, if you don't mind, provide a little background on the overall development here because it's quite significant, and this is sort of the first phase of this larger initiative that's going to be very transformative in downtown Syracuse. East Adams Phase 1 is the first official new housing of this multi-year housing redevelopment plan that's called the New 15th Ward. Or the East Adams Street Transformation Plan, launched by the city of Syracuse, in which approximately 1,000 units will be built and or preserved in properties owned by the Syracuse Housing Authority. The transformation plan also involves the tearing down and rerouting of the elevated Interstate 81 highway that cuts through the East Adams area. which along with the current layout of the current housing in the surrounding neighborhood is since the 1950s has contributed to, longstanding marginalized, distressed, and blighted conditions for the area's residents. In 2019, the Syracuse Housing Authority selected McCormick Barron Salazar, MBS, as the master developer to refine and implement a comprehensive transformation plan for the redevelopment of East Adams. 2 years later, in 2021, the Housing Authority and MBS, along with Urban Strategies, Urban Design Associates, Blueprint 15, and the city itself, engaged residents in the community in the planning process to refine the concept and create a comprehensive transformation and redevelopment plan for East Adams. The plan has three major objectives, basically to replace the severely distressed public and assisted housing with high quality mixed income housing that is well managed and responsive to the needs of the surrounding neighborhood. Two, to improve the outcomes of households living in the target area related to employment and income, health, and children's education. And three, to create conditions necessary for public and private reinvestment in this neighborhood to offer the kinds of amenities and assets, safety, good schools, commercial activity that are important to the residents of this, who make choices about their community here. The major infrastructure improvements are a necessary part of the plan, some of which are directly included and tied with these residential projects that we'll be presenting over today and over the coming months and years. Components of the redevelopment, some are separate and apart. This includes removal of some of the neighborhoods, what they call super blocks, creation of new streets to allow for connection to the street grid, improved streetscapes, pedestrian walkways, basically like more of an open plan, neighborhood greenway connecting the area's two main parks. And of course, as I mentioned, the removal of that elevated interstate highway. The infrastructure work also will necessarily include upgrades to the city's municipal systems to accommodate the increased electric service that was going to be expected here to come with the redevelopment, including a major geothermal installation for all of the new housing. High-speed broadband internet service will need to be accommodated as well. But then I'll go specifically to the proposal today, East Adams Phase 1 proper, if you will. There was a pre-phase that we closed in December, which was an existing almost over tower public housing, which we did a substantial rehabilitation financing on. That's underway right now. That was sort of the test case with the developer, MBS, and the Housing Authority, as they're MBS is sort of new to the area, partnering with some of the local development team to get the project done. So now we're in the official Phase 1 of this massive redevelopment. This involves the demolition of the blighted 75-unit McKinney Manor public housing development in favor of new construction of 132 units on the site. The new McKinney Manor will continue to be owned by the Syracuse Housing Authority, who will co-manage the property with Cornerstone Property Management, who's done a lot of work with us in the past. All tenants at the existing McKinney Manor have already been successfully relocated in accordance with HUD's requirements for uniform relocation. All tenants have a right to return to the new property regardless of their income. The project will go through the HUD RAD conversion and Section 18 disposition programs. 63 of the 132 units will receive project-based Section 8. 55 units will be affordable to households with incomes at or below 60% AMI. The remaining 15 units will not be income restricted as per an agreement with the city of Syracuse. For the new construction of East Adams Phase 1, it'll meet the agency's all-electric design requirements. It'll qualify under NYSERDA and U.S. Environmental Protection Agency green building programs. These main components will include all-electric heating and cooling, domestic hot water systems, and as I mentioned earlier, geothermal ground source heat pumps. The East Adams Phase 1 will consist of 6 buildings when complete, a 4-story building, 91 units, 3-story building with 20 units, and 4 2-story townhomes with 21 units each. 21 units total. The development will be designed to create community aesthetic, outdoor seating areas, landscape, playgrounds, and private terraces. All residents will have access to the amenities that will largely be housed in the larger 4-story building. That includes community room, lounge, minority business development space, bike storage, fitness center, and the management office. Parking will be there for 83 off-street surface spaces for residents and 35 on-street spaces for residents and visitors. The agency's subsidy and bond financing is going to the project, as well as some HUD CNI funding, $8 million from the Empire State Development Corporation. The city of Syracuse is providing $2 million in conjunction with ESD on a few pre-development items. funding from the Housing Authority itself and from Onondaga County. The tax credit equity coming into the project will cover about 35% of the total development cost of the project. And lastly, the project will expect to meet state's minority, women, and senior disabled business goals for Onondaga County, which in aggregate is 36% of our permanent sources going into the project. So, thank you.
So Russell, we're approving East Adams Phase 1 and also East Adams Phase 2. Are you making a separate presentation for Phase 2?
Yeah, it's a separate project, so that would be next. I can go into that if you want, or
no, I think we need to approve them separately because I'm conflicted on Phase 1. Okay.
I'll note for the record, the chairman is recusing himself from this vote. Now before the HFA board and the HFA Finance and Program Committee are resolutions transmitted in connection with this item. Assuming the motion second previously recorded, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye. Aye.
Motion is carried. The resolution is adopted.
Thank you. Okay, Phase 2.
Phase 2. This will be a bit shorter presentation. I went over the larger development before, so I can get right to this one. It's a part of the same broader initiative for the neighborhood. Phase 2 will be located on Burt Street, across the street from the Alma Solar Tower project that I mentioned in the previous presentation that was financed last December. It's about a 5-minute walk from where Phase 1 will be. Phase 2 is the new construction of 125 units of affordable housing for seniors and families earning up to 60% AMI. 121 units will receive project-based Section 8 through the Syracuse Housing Authority. They'll also be the legal owner of the property. The 125 units will be housed in a 4-story elevator L-shaped building built on currently vacant land that's owned by the Housing Authority. Amenities include free Wi-Fi, community room, lounge, computer lab, bike storage, fitness center, laundry, library, and an outdoor terrace space. The site will include outdoor seating, landscape, playground, walking paths, outdoor private terraces, 88 parking spaces for residents, visitors, and facility staff. The project will exceed the agency's green building requirements for all newly constructed housing and will be certified through the Energy Star Multifamily New Construction ERI Path and Enterprise Green Communities Plus programs. Like Phase 1, this building will include all electric heating, cooling, and domestic hot water, ground source geothermal heat pumps, and will also qualify under the Department of Energy's Zero Energy Ready Homes program, whereby energy efficiency offsets most to all of the building's annual energy usage. The project will be receiving a variety of sources for financing, particularly equity from the eligibility of both federal and state low-income housing tax credits, geothermal credits, and $10 million projected from brownfield cleanup equity. All in all, the equity covers about 59% of the project's total development cost. This is important because the projected net income is tight on this project due to the relatively low revenue of the rental income. Even with the Section 8 at 110% of the fair market rents for Syracuse, it only really equates to about 60% AMI. Due to the project's limited cash flow and the current interest rate environment, the project can't really support a bond finance permanent mortgage at the current interest rates. So permanent HFA financing will be in the form of the paid interest subsidy that's being provided. Phase 2 will also be developed by the same development team as Phase 1. That's the Housing Authority with McCormick Barron Salazar, as well as the locally selected property manager Cornerstone, the general contractor Huber Brewer, who have worked on several agency-financed projects in Syracuse, most recently the Moyer Carriage Lofts project, which was completed on time and converted just this past March, I believe. Lastly, the project will expect to meet the state's minority, women, and disabled business goals for Onondaga County, which in aggregate is 36% of the agency's permanent financing that's going into the project. Thank you.
Russell, do you have any idea why
If I could,
federal credits on Phase 2 are worth 10 cents less than Phase 1?
Yeah, it has to do with the investor. U.S. Bank was, their investment pool is probably not as robust as the investor who's going into Phase 1, which is Hudson. I think they have a better access to state credit investment.
Dee, did you have a question?
I just wanted to say that this project is really important to the city of Syracuse and to the surrounding community. It's tied to the collapse of 81 and the change that's happening on that side of where this project sits. And, the community is approaching with cautious optimism because it is so multi-year and so multifaceted. And so for Syracuse, it's just a really, really big deal. And I hope that we manage to get through all of the ups and downs that are going to face this project and come out really strong at the other side.
We agree. We've been trying to get to this point for quite some time. So we are very happy to be here, and we will ensure that we keep going.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Great. Thank you, Russell. Russ?
This is before the HFA Board and the HFA Finance and Program Committee resolutions transmitted in connection with this item. Assuming the motion and second previously recorded, all in favor, please say aye.
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 The motion is carried. The resolution is adopted.
Great, thank you. Next is item 18, a discussion item, Emerson Davis Apartments, Brooklyn, Kings County. Russell?
Okay, now down to Brooklyn. Emerson Davis Apartments will be newly constructed 12-story building in the Clinton Hill section of Brooklyn. The current existing building there, 161 Emerson Place, is outdated. The units are undersized. To improve the quality of the housing and supportive services programs, the existing building will be demolished. A new building with 103 units of permanent affordable housing will be constructed. 61 appropriately sized supportive units for the Emerson Davis Family Residence Program, and 41 units of affordable housing available to households earning up to 60% of the AMI for New York City. There will also be a supers unit. The 61 supportive units will be subsidized and serviced through an Empire State Supportive Housing Initiative, or ESHI award, for single parents living with serious mental illness and/or substance use disorders seeking to regain custody of children or at high risk of losing custody. Residents of the existing building have successfully been relocated into the community as of September of 2024 and will continue to receive in-home supportive services until they're able to be relocated back into the new building. The new building will offer space specifically tailored to the residents served. The community use spaces will include a children's activity room, fitness room, learning lounge, teaching kitchen with a community room. The new building will be approximately 112 gross square feet and will include 38 studios, 18 one-bedrooms, and 47 two-bedroom units. One, again, will be the supers unit. The project is being developed by the nonprofit Institute for Community Living, ICL, whose president and CEO is Jody Rudin. Since its founding over 35 years ago, ICL has grown to become one of the largest providers of supportive housing and residential programs in the city. ICL has owned the property and the existing building since 1992, encumbered by a state aid grant lien, which was provided by the New York State Office of Mental Health to provide mental health services at the subject property. The lien itself has been satisfied as of May of last year. The property will continue to be maintained as supportive housing, but also with an affordable housing component, both of which are needed in a neighborhood in Brooklyn that is largely underserved in both regards, Clinton Hill. The new Emerson Davis is expected to exceed the agency's green building requirements for new construction, will be designed to a full passive house standard, is certified by FIAS, and will meet the New York City Overlay 2.0 of the Enterprise Green Communities criteria. This will include all electric building heating, cooling, variable refrigerant flow split systems, energy recovery ventilator systems, of course, Energy Star appliances, LED lighting, PVC and casement windows, and highly efficient rigid insulation to the building. In addition, the agency's bond and subsidy financing, the project will be financed with the help of New York City HPD, who is providing a subsidy loan under their supportive housing loan program, which will in turn, which will match the HFA subsidy. However, HPD is working on hopefully increasing that loan amount. So the more that they'll provide to the project, the less we'll provide in terms of our subsidy. We're still working out those finalized terms at this point. Other sources include Resolution A funding from the city, a grant from OMH, funding from ICL itself in the form of an acquisition price that's being funded back into the project as a seller's note, and the city will be granting a full real estate tax exemption under 420C. Thanks.
Great. Thank you, Russell.
This is before the HFA Board and the HFA Finance and Program Committee resolutions transmitted in connection with this item. Assuming the motion and second previously recorded, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
The motion is carried. The resolution adopted.
Okay, thank you. Item 19, Gardner's Lofts, Rochester, Monroe County, and Russell Hughley and Terrence Sang will present that.
Thank you.
Which one is it now?
Gardner's.
Okay, Gardner's Lofts in the city of Rochester is acquisition and adaptive reuse of a former mill structure consisting of 6 connected 5-story buildings to be reused into 88 units. All the units will be affordable to households with income up to 60% of AMI. 45 units will be supportive units, which will be covered by a ESHI award from the Office of Temporary and Disability Assistance. And the service provider will be Soldier On, who is also who is also partnering with Wind Development to have control of the borough entity. There will also be 16,000 square feet of community space and 12,000 square feet of commercial space. Amenities will include a fitness center, free Wi-Fi in each unit, and a bike room. There will also be 117 parking spaces. The current structure was built in the early 1900s and was previously used as various retail stores, and it has been vacant since 1999. The construction will meet the 2020 Enterprise Green Community Partners requirements and will be all electric, and it's going to be qualified for the CEI award. Sustainability features include solar panels and high efficiency heat pump system for heating and cooling. The project is located near all the necessary amenities such as supermarkets, retail businesses. The borough entity will be a single-purpose entity controlled by Wind Development Company and Soldier On, which is a 501c3 not-for-profit service provider. Wind Development Company has extensive experience with the agency financing, and they will also manage the property. Any questions?
I'll note for the record, the chairman has recused himself from this vote. This is before the HFA board, the HTFC board, and the HFA Finance and Program Committee. Resolutions transmitted in connection with this item. Assuming the motion second previously recorded, all in favor, please say aye.
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 The motion is carried. The resolution is adopted.
Great, thank you. And Terrence, you're up again for Las
Lambayanas.
Lambayanas, or Monroe County.
So this is not a bond deal. So the request is to ask the agency to finance this project with allocation of state low-income housing tax credits and subsidy to finance the preservation of a Mitchell-Lama development built in 1974, which includes a 13-story high-rise building and 9 low-rise townhouses. The high-rise will go through a modern rehab, which will include many sustainability features. And the 9 blighted vacant townhomes will be demolished, and it will be replaced with 3 mid-rise structures. And the total units will be 153 units. The project is having an existing HOP contract and will be assigned to the new borough entity. All units will be affordable to households making up to 60% of AMI. The project was developed in 1974 by the Ibero-American Action League to address the growing needs of seniors and families within the Latino community in Rochester. There is a waitlist for the project. The high-rise building will go through a modern rehab, which includes heat pump HVAC and electric hot water boilers. The 3 mid-rise buildings will have solar panels. The borough entity will be a single-purpose entity controlled by Landsman Development Corp., who also controls the current owner. JP Morgan Chase will provide a construction loan during construction, and because of the Section 8 contract, the project can afford a perm loan provided by Freddie Mac. Landsman will continue to manage the property. They have experience with the agency and currently manage 2,500 units.
Thank you.
Just real quick, are they changing the unit mix? I mean, there's up to 4 bedrooms. There's a bunch of 4 bed. I mean, it just seems, are they, is it still,
I believe
I mean, it's interesting to see the unit mix on this.
Sure.
But like,
they're not changing unit mix.
Okay.
The townhomes are exact unit type replacements.
okay.
So the 9 townhomes will be replaced by 3 mid-rise with exact number of units and unit types.
Note for the record, the chairman will recuse himself from this vote. This is before the HFA and the HTFC boards. Resolutions transmitted in connection with this item, assuming the motion and second previously recorded. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
The motion is carried. The resolution adopted.
Item 21, discussion item for HFA, Fulton
Thanks,
Park Plaza, Brooklyn, Kings County, and Russell Ubley will present the item.
All right, I got my voice back, I think. Fulton Park Plaza, this is an interesting one. This is part 1 of the Fulton Park Plaza financing request. We're going to be back hopefully next month with another request for additional financing. This is strictly for a subsidy request for the acquisition portion of the project. And I'll explain why. Fulton Park is a 286-unit state-supervised Mitchell-Lama rental high-rise in Bed-Stuy, Brooklyn. It's among our Office of Housing Preservation's highest priorities in terms of capital needs work, preserving affordability under the Mitchell-Lama program, and frankly, wrestling the property from a less than ideal ownership whose tenure since 2015 has seen over increasingly deteriorating conditions at the building. Losing an asset such as Fulton Park to market rate housing in a gentrifying neighborhood is a situation we've developed a plan to avoid. The reason I'm presenting this project for authorization for just the acquisition financing today is that the purchase and sale agreement for the property expires at the end of June, and the necessary approvals for the financing of the rehabilitation that we're going to come back to have not been fully met yet. We're still waiting for final approvals on that, so the timing is a little off by a few weeks. We fully expect those approvals to be in place next month, but first we need to close on the acquisition portion, which is pertinent at this point. Subsequently close on the rehabilitation portion with the new owner's site control in place, hopefully in July. That's what we're projecting. Today's request is for the HFA subsidy requested for the acquisition portion of the loan. The acquisition cost is $68.4 million, includes the payoff of approximately $39.5 million in existing debt. The acquisition price is supported by an independent third-party appraisal that was commissioned by JP Morgan Chase. The agency's Office of Housing Preservation and our Finance and Development Unit have worked the past 2 years to formulate a plan for the acquisition and rehabilitation of the project. We support the acquisition of the project by the borrower, who will be 1711 Fulton Redevelopment, who is purchasing the beneficial interest in the current nominee, Fulton Park Site for House Incorporated from Vertis's Holdings. As we do not use tax-exempt bond volume cap and 4% credits on our preservation financing, as we reserve that resource for our new construction priorities, Fulton Park will instead benefit from a combination of our tax-exempt recycled bonds, which are previously issued volume caps that we recycle with the redeeming of our short-term bonds on projects reaching completion, and then our state housing tax credits. We kind of couple recycled bonds with tax credits from the state in lieu of the 4% credits. As an aside, as you may be aware, the recently passed state budget includes a doubling of the allocation of our state tax credit allocation, which is extremely useful financing tool for preservation. So we're going to be seeing a lot more of that, I think, in the coming years, particularly for affordable housing here. Fulton Park will benefit from the structure, and the borrower will form a tax credit partnership with the state tax credits. The managing member entity of this partnership will be 50% owned by Timothy Hensey and 50% owned by Darren Smith. I just want to call out Smith Hensey is a longstanding partner to the agency. I really can't say enough about the work that Tim Hensey's done with us, continues to do in terms of willingness to take on some of our most distressed and difficult projects. Town and Country that we closed last year, Classen Avenue in Mitchell-Lama in Brooklyn that we did a couple of years ago. It's not for the faint of heart. So I think Hensy's ability to kind of put a team together and successfully finance these projects is something that should be commended. He's working with the agency to come up with a creative and sustainable solution to the most difficult properties in our portfolio. So this one's very interesting because Fulton Park was originally built in 1974 by the Jackie Robinson Construction Company as affordable housing under the HUD Section 236 and Mitchell-Lama programs. Tim and his team were able to uncover, by virtue of some digging, that there's historical significance here, and we were actually able to qualify the project for historical tax credits as a result. Jackie Robinson's construction company is the builder of the original project. Having the historic tax credits and the state tax credits will ultimately provide the project with $26 million in tax credit equity for the historic tax credits, and then another $26 million from the state tax credit equity. This is crucial as the cost to acquire the project and the substantial rehabilitation needs are not insignificant. Another benefit to the acquisition of this property is that it comes with 131,200 square feet of unused floor area based on the residential FAR ratio, which is a mathematical formula, determines how many square feet can be developed on a property in proportion to the lot area. This excess land area gives the agency an opportunity for future affordable housing development on the property, which I think is a pretty decent bonus as we're acquiring the property. The proposed acquisition and rehabilitation assumes the project remaining in the Mitchell-Lama program. It'll enter into a new 40-year reg agreement. The project has 7 commercial tenants, 6 of which occupy a separate one-story building on the property, and a commercial tenant on the first floor of the residential building. As with all of our agency financings, no tenant pays more than 30% of their monthly income towards their rent. And then the acquisition loan itself will be financed with HFA subsidy through our Mitchell-Lama loan program. Additional subsidy and bond and tax credit financing will be requested as part of the second phase of the financing. The project has received only minor renovations since 1974 and suffers from extreme deferred maintenance and failing building systems. For context, the scope of substantial rehabilitation, the green building measures, and other information associated with the rehabilitation are included in the memo. We'll probably speak more to that when we come back for the rehabilitation request. But I'll take any questions on this sort of weird approach.
Thanks, Russell.
Yeah.
Russell, remind me, you think this is going to come back to the board next month, is what you said?
Yeah, that's the idea.
Okay.
Thank you.
Now before the HFA board, a resolution is transmitted in connection with this item. Assuming the motion and second previously reported, all in favor, please say aye.
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 Motion is carried. The resolution is adopted.
Great, thank you. Thank you, Russell.
Okay, thanks.
Next item 22 is a discussion item, Emerson Townhomes, Buffalo, Erie County, and Madeline Fletcher, Vice President, Small and Mid-Sized Development, will make the presentation.
Hi, everybody. I'm here in Albany. The last one left in the room. This will be quick. This is actually a great project in Buffalo. It's a request for $3.2 million or $200,000 a unit in AHP funds for the development of 16 townhome units in the Maston Park neighborhood of Buffalo. It's a good neighborhood with access to pedestrian, transit access, lots of easy access to necessities and amenities. Habitat for Humanity is a developer and the senior lender is LISC. This will be the first project I think we close with LISC, which is exciting. The other thing that we are excited about for this project is that the total development cost is under $400,000 a unit. We haven't been really able to achieve that much across the program, but they are using a townhome style modular structure that is really time efficient, infrastructure efficient, everything like that. So they're really, and combined with the habitat model, they're really able to get a great price on these homes. The sales prices will be $180,000, which serves households under 80% AMI. And so we actually also have a really simple subsidy model. It's just AHOP and the construction loan from LISC. So we are excited about this. They have a really short timeline. We think they'll be built and sold within 16 months. So we're really excited to recommend this project. Happy to answer questions.
Great.
16 months. That's amazing. You should.
I know. We'll see.
You should say,
That's
you
true.
should say like 20 and then, over promise, under promise or whatever.
Yeah.
Madeline, just note that the politicians listed on the first page have been updated a bit. Tim Kennedy is now
Oh, geez. Okay.
Congressman.
This is probably from when we did the credit memo. Okay. I can do an update. This is Thomas's last memo when he was going out the door, so I apologize.
No.
Okay.
Questions?
No, this is great. I'm excited to see this. We'll see this one happen. It feels very like, a good model that should they be able to successfully do this.
Yeah, hopefully it's exciting. It'll be really nice to see how it goes.
No, it's also, I think Habitat, it's interesting to see Habitat, and we saw the United Way of Long Island have pushed the envelope, some of those organizations on the construction technique stuff, which I think is, if they can get this done, it's an amazing win for 3-bedroom homes. Yeah.
Yeah, it's great.
Great. Thank you, Madeline.
Thank you.
This is before the HFA board resolution transmitted in connection with this item. Assuming the motion second previously recorded, all in favor, please say aye.
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 Motion is carried. The resolution adopted.
Great. Thank you. Okay. Item 23 is a discussion item related West 30th Street, also known as Abington House, refinancing in New York County, and Mark Price, Director of Capital Markets, will make the presentation.
Good morning.
Good morning, Mark.
So I'll be presenting refinancing for two 80/20 style projects. We are on the west side of Manhattan today. So we will start at the Hudson Yards Highline area, related West 30th, also known as Abington House. 390 units, 78 of which are at or below 50% AMI, 12 of which are at or below 40% AMI. The original transaction was $163 million in variable rate debt, and that had a Wells Fargo letter of credit, and that was done in 2012. It came back in 2015, refinanced those bonds into fixed rate bonds, and also added an additional $42 million of taxable bonds. Those were privately placed with Deutsche Bank, and the interest rate on those is around 5.5%. There is a private placement mode end date in September, so they are trying to get ahead of that particular date when they would have to refinance. So they are looking to refinance with variable rate bonds. They would be purchased by Mizuho with a Mizuho letter of credit, and it would have a 10-year term. We expect to get around $707,000 in a refinancing fee. And we currently earn about $715,000 in annual fees. The rest of the information is in the memo. Happy to take any questions.
Thanks, Mark.
This is before the HFA board and the HFA Finance and Program Committee. A resolution is transmitted in connection with this item. Assuming the motion second previously recorded, all in favor, please say aye.
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 Motion is carried. The resolution is adopted.
Okay, so now we go a little north of where we just were, and we go to the Hell's Kitchen area. And this is known as Gotham West. It is a very large project. Actually, it's about 4 buildings. It's in the mid-40s between 10th and 11th Avenues. 1,238 units. This was interesting because it has some middle income as well. So 43 of those units are at or below 40%. 207 are at or below 50%. 216 at or below 135%, and 217 at or below 165%. So you see that sort of middle income band there. Originally, there was $520 million of bonds that were issued in a few different series between the years of 2011 and 2013. Wells Fargo holds the outstanding bonds. Right now, There's only 460 million of that original 520 that are left outstanding. They are in a variable rate mode with Wells, and the refinancing will be with Wells as a private placement. They are looking into a mix of fixed and floating rate bonds based on prevailing rates at the time of execution. They need to execute ahead of the June 12th private placement mode end date, and it will have a 5 to 7 year term. We will earn 1.7 million in a refinancing fee on this one, given its large size, and we currently earn about 1.6 million in annual fees.
Can I ask a question? Is the retail, and I should know this, but I can't remember, the retail is totally separate here from not secured by our debt? I know that I read recently their cool, like, food hall that they had there closed.
I would have to get
I
back.
don't mean to ask you a random on the spot question.
No,
I was just
it's
thinking
okay.
about it because I saw that article the other day about their food hall.
Yeah, so I would have to get back to you
Okay.
on that. Just curious.
Obviously, this all under it, so it doesn't matter. I'm just curious.
Yeah, yeah. I don't remember if it was part of that.
Okay, this is before the HFA board and the HFA financing program committee. Resolution is transmitted in connection with this item. Assuming the motion second previously recorded, all in favor, please say aye.
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 Motion is carried and the resolution is adopted.
Thank you, Mark. Okay, the next 5 items are consent items, so there will be no presentation.
These items are before the AHC board. A resolution transmitted in connection with these items. Assuming the motion is second previously recorded, all in favor, please say aye.
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 The motion is carried. The resolution is adopted.
Okay, thank you. And the next 3 items are information items, and there will be no presentation. Before we wrap up and close the meeting, I just want to acknowledge staff. The sound was fantastic. The connection was perfect. Thank you for that. It can be sort of disruptive, but today was perfect. So
Yeah.
thank you.
Steve, I appreciate that. I also want to just tell me that the system is going to be replaced before the next.
Did you hear that, Dee? Sorry.
Okay.
We can.
No, I'm sorry, I couldn't hear it.
Oh, that's right. Betsy was just saying that we're going to be replacing the Syracuse audiovisual system before the next meeting too. So that'll be.
Well, thank you.
Okay. Well, you want to close this out?
Thank you, B.
Assuming the motion is second previously recorded, all in favor of adjourning the meetings, please say aye.
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 The motion is carried. The meetings are adjourned.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
That's deep. Under 10:30, just shy 10:30.
So we can